All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Ben Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. As always, let's try to follow distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. And as always, we want to make sure that we are taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, setting yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, and obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Today we'll look at some fundamentals. We know we're looking ahead to Fed rate decision. Tons of data starting to come out today, so we'll take a look at the fundamental side of things, and we'll take a look at some charts. Not a ton happening at the moment, but we'll take a look at some charts, and we'll take a look at some stocks as well. See where some of the stocks and stock market is sitting. So if everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat and we will get rocking. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Appreciate that, good people. All right, let's get to it. Boom. Trading economics. So, right, everybody's basically in alignment that the Fed is going to signal interest rate cuts would be delayed. What they're looking for, the terms that Jerome Powell uses, and if the anticipation is to have any cuts this year, right? And what the Fed sees as far as the progress toward the 2% inflation target, right? So start out the year with 6 or 8 rate cuts, and now we're down to if the Fed will cut rates. If they do, the anticipation is December currently, and we're only looking at the market is pricing in 1 rate cut, right? So that's what everybody's looking forward to, is the words that he chooses and guidance on when the Fed will choose to cut rates. Okay. We have boom, dollar. The DXY rose around 106 on Wednesday, marching towards 6-month highs as investors brace for latest policy decisions from the Federal Reserve. Central bank is widely expected to keep rates unchanged amid strong U.S. economic data and stubborn inflation, while traders will be focused on Fed Chair Powell's forward guidance. On Tuesday, index rallied 0.6% as data showed the U.S. employment costs rose by 1.2% during the first quarter, the most in 1 year, and firmly above the expectation of 1%. That employment cost is part of the wage scenario, right? So how much it costs to employ individuals. So that looks at wages and wage growth. The dollar strengthened across the board, with the most pronounced buying activity seen versus the Aussie and the Kiwi, which is the New Zealand dollar. Moreover, the greenback continued to appreciate against the yen as markets wagered that the suspected intervention by Japan authorities on Monday could not support the currency in the long term, right? So that's where we are at the dollar index. And oil, WTI crude futures fell toward $81 a barrel on Wednesday. Excuse me. Sliding for the third straight session, um, as an industry report pointed to a sharp rebound in U.S. crude stockpiles. While hopes for a ceasefire agreement in the Middle East continued to weigh on oil prices. The API data showed the U.S. crude inventories jumped by 4.9 million barrels last week after seeing a 3.2 million barrel drop in the preceding week, uh, from the biggest gain since March. EIA also said on Tuesday that the U.S. crude production rose by 13.15 million barrels per day in February from 12.8 in January, right? So, excuse me, you got more supply coming to the market and a potential weigh on demand, right? Um, in the Middle East, Egypt led efforts to revive a stalled peace negotiation between Israel and Hamas, reducing the risk of a wider conflict in the region. Elsewhere, investors turn cautious ahead of the Federal Reserve's policy decision. All right, so still got the back and forth negotiations in the Middle East. Other countries are stepping in to kind of help to bring some level-headed energy, I'll say, to the conversation, in hopes to prolong or calm the situation a bit. Then we had Japan factory activity shrinks, the least in 8 months. Manufacturing PMI was revised lower to 49.6 in April of 2024 from 49.9 from the preliminary estimates. And after a final 48.2 in March, signaled a near stabilization. It was the 11th straight month of contraction in factory activity. I don't know what happened there. Export orders declined, mainly in China and the U.S. As a result, purchasing activity continued to decrease despite the lowest since October 2020. Delivery times improved. So there we are, right? PMI revised lower. Okay, so that's where we are in Japan. Also, I'll come over to the calendar here, but with the intervention, the banks are looking at current accounts for Japan, the Bank of Japan, and their estimate is that the Bank of Japan did step in and intervene, um, to the tune of $5.5 billion. So that's what the expectation is, but we won't know for sure until next week, right? So here's a view of all the data that we just went through. New Zealand employment change came in below expectation. Unemployment rate came in at expectation there. Then today, right? We got bank holidays in the Eurozone. And then we got the slew of data starting at 8:15 and keeping it moving pretty much all the way through. Manufacturing PMI for the dollar and for Canada, 9:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock. Joe's job openings at 10 o'clock. ISM manufacturing prices at 10 o'clock. And then 2 o'clock, we got FOMC meeting, right? So we'll be watching there to see how things go. We also got a bank holiday in China. All right. And then tonight we have meeting minutes coming out of the Bank of Japan. So that'll be interesting to see what that looks like and what their conversation was last week. All right. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I am doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Always glad to be here. Always, hey, I'm
Awesome.
I'm, I'm glad I'm actually waking up in the morning. It's a little bit warm, so
Yeah, man.
that's so that's a good thing. So it means the
Yeah, for
summer is
sure.
not far away. So I'm all
Yeah,
good.
man. Super excited about it. Super excited about it. Fundamentally, bro, anything top of mind for you?
Oh man, come on now. We're waiting until 2 o'clock.
Wait until 2 o'clock. Yes, sir.
That's about it. Those meeting minutes coming out of Japan, man. That's what everybody is waiting on, man. See what the Fed has to say at 2 p.m. Nothing else matters to me, at least until then.
Yes, sir. I am I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. So sitting tight, man. Um yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's it.
All
That's it, man.
right.
Other than that, happy May, everybody. Already.
Yeah. Already, bro. Already. The time is flying.
Yeah, rocking and rolling. So I was listening back and forth to the channels yesterday. A lot of people getting eaten up in the market, right? On that downturn with the stock market. But hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
another
I want to
another but an 80/20, right?
dude, I plan on looking at some stocks this morning because that's all it is. That's all it is, even on the individual stocks. So
Yep.
if they knew, they'd have been prepared.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you're buying whole folks, man. They're waiting it out. They're trying to wait it out.
Hmm.
But it might correct for quite a little bit, especially we'll see what happens at today when Chairman Powell see what he has to say, see how the market reacts to it. Uh,
Yeah.
See if we can get a continuation to the downside.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We shall see. All right, good people. So, I said my goal is to we'll go over. I got a couple pairs top of mind. If you guys have any pairs that you want me to take a look at, drop those into the chat. While we took a look at the DXY. Um, and then I got a couple stocks that I want to take a look at too, to Benny's point regarding some of these downturns. So, um, over to the DXY, right? We saw a push to the upside yesterday, right? We did make it down further as we were talking about during the session yesterday morning, but we got to push to the upside. So came back kind of in line with that B boundary, but it was a 618 retracement on the four, right? So we'll see what happens today and we'll see what the action looks like. Is it a pullback to retest this 4 hour resistance here and then a continuation to the upside? Or do we push further to the downside? All right. So, excuse me. That's what we're looking for on the DXY. S&P go copper. All right, Joy. I just read some things I saw a couple articles on copper. I think it was on Bloomberg. I have to find the article and send it to you, Joy. Uh, where they're talking about copper. But let's do it. Let's do it. That's a new one for me on the chart. So cool. So that's the dollar. Um, mm, 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 mm. Keeping tabs on that dollar yen, and all the yen crosses are pretty much doing the same thing. This retracement that we talked about yesterday, right? So pushing back to the upside. This is on the 1 hour dollar yen, right? This is that taking back that they talked about, pushing long, pushing long. So we'll watch and see how things go. I got a sub fib running to the upside. That's the matching D extension there. So we'll see what happens when we get to the top of that move on the one. All right. That is that. $1 into JPY. All right. Gotcha. Cool. Okay. All right. All right. I see you, Joy. Since we're on this side, we'll pop in and take a look at the NZD JPY. That's the NZD Swissy still bouncing around in that range there. Looking for that move to the downside. NZD JPY. Let's come back. Daily time frame. Let's see. We got to clean this up a little bit. This is one chart that I haven't looked at, as you can tell. So let's do a top down on NZD JPY. All right, so we'll put on our support resistance levels. Mark out our all-time highs and lows. And boom. All right, so now monthly support. We were inching back toward at 97,804. Got pretty close to that level too, which is interesting. So just like all of the other yen crosses, extremely high, right? Extremely high in the zone. So support resistance there on the monthly time frame. Boom. Now let's go to the weekly. Recent and relevant levels, right? Recent and relevant levels. Recent meaning close to price. Relevant meaning hasn't been broken yet, right? So we got support there, support there, support there, there, and there. JC, you read my mind. Those are the ones that I had on my list to look at. So I got you. So that's our weekly support. And let's go to the daily. Boom. So we see this level here, we got broken. We don't have a new swing high yet because we're waiting on this daily candle to close. So what we'll do is we'll make that adjustment ahead of time. There's our support there. And oops. We'll make this our resistance level there. Boom. Like so. All right. So we're done there. Now let's look at, let's see where we are from a daily time frame perspective on the fib. We'll come to the low here. All right, so from a daily time frame perspective, that push up, right? That intervention talk, hit the D extension on the daily. Boom. All right, so now we're waiting on this candle to close, and that'll give us a new swing high on the daily time frame. All right, so let's go down to the 4. We know where we are there on the daily. So now on the 4, let's see, we'll come back and we'll look at that move as well. This is going to come here. Boom. All right. Boom. So there we are. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone came down to that 236 level. Set daily support, pushed back up into the zone. So we're sitting in that 118, 127 zone on the 4-hour on the NZD JPY, right? So 80-20 scenario, we'll see what happens and if we get the catalyst to push this further to the downside, right? So note that 80-20 there on the 4. We'll come down to the 1. And we'll look at the same thing. This one will likely, we'll do the smart fib on this one just to see what they give us. Boom, yeah. With all the back and forth. That's where we'll start. Boom. All right, so now there we are. And you see, just like all those other JPY 1 hour charts, that spike up pushes into that 118 and 127 zone. And then we came to the downside, right? So now we're just in this consolidation phase. So just like the others, um, right? Look to see if we get a pullback, right? A little deeper pullback here, and then see if we get a continuation to the downside. We know on the 4 hour, we're in the 80-20 zone, and we're looking for a new AB boundary on the daily. So, just like those other yen crosses, I'm still looking for some pullbacks to happen here. Some of those others are already in play, moving back to the upside, but we're looking to see if we get one here as well, right? And then we'll look for that move back down to the downside. Okay, so that's my thought on that, Jeremy. Any thoughts or questions on the NZD-JPY? No. No. All right, we'll do. There we have it. And we had look at pound Aussie, pound CAD, pound dollar, and then we'll check out some of those others. So this pound Aussie, we've been watching this on the move to the upside, right? We'll look at the 4 hour and see that move. But daily time frame, we do have this 80-20 that I do have in the back of my mind, right? But I think we have higher prices still before we make another move to the downside. That's my thought anyway. So we'll see how this actually goes. But you see, yesterday we ended up with strong bullish action to the upside. Okay. We come down to the four. Come down to the four. And originally we were watching, right, this AB boundary here. And price took out the A on the move to the downside. So we've been bouncing back and forth here. Got a nice deep retracement, 50%. Now we're starting to turn over and push down to the downside. Okay. We come back to the 1 hour now, and boom, there we go. Right. So that push to the upside yesterday, right? Strong movement to the upside put us right into this 80-20 scenario. So we know, right, we get those bullish actions. Market likes to take back at least a portion of those moves. So there you are. 80-20 scenario on the 1 hour time frame on the pound Aussie, right? And we'll look to see if we get confirmation of that move to the downside. Understanding that we have news coming out later today that could impact everything across the board. So just be aware of that. And make those decisions based on your rules and what is coming up, right? So just be cautious here. Okay. But 80-20 scenario nonetheless. And then we'll look for a low price and see if we get an opportunity to get back long. Okay. Pound Aussie, any questions here?
No, sir.
We'll do. Pound CAD. Benny, what are your thoughts on the pound overall?
I think for the most part, I mean, in regards to, I'm looking at everything as it relates to rate cuts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them cutting rates, you know. So fairly, I'm playing them to the upside for the most part.
Yeah.
Right now in the near term, until until something changes in that regard. But I've been playing them to the upside.
Yeah. Yeah. Just on those longer term swings.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
off the especially those setups that we found on the four a long time ago. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
those like huge moves that we spotted, large swings on the four, C to D moves. Just letting those play out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, sweet.
Mhm.
And that's my thought too. Um, identify these shorter term 1 hour moves, but overall looking for a move to the upside. I agree with you there. Um, so here on the pound cat, right? We've been in just this range, just moving straight across the middle of the screen. So in the near term, we've been in this tighter range here, bottom of the range, push back to the top of the range, right? Tried to break out, couldn't, came back to the high. So range bound here, right? We come down to the 4, and this is what we have. Let me look at a larger fib real quick. Yeah, this is what we have currently. Oh, there we go. There's a larger fib there, right? We got a 618 retracement, and then we just been pressing sideways. Okay. So looking at sub fibs, smaller waves, right? Just ran the fib off the high of the range, right? And this is where we sit. Okay. This is where we sit. Deep retracement. We'll see what happens, right? Fundamentally, where things go. Um, But if we don't take out the A, at least look for a retracement here, right? Of these pound pairs that have a higher ATR, right? So at least look for a move back down to the downside and then looking for a low price to get back long, right? We may not see this full C to D move play out because it's a sub fib, right? And we got daily support coming in there at 169. Um, but potential for a retracement and then a low price to get back long. Okay. So when we come down to the 1, we see that we have a fresh AB boundary, right? Which would play into, right, at least a retracement off of that 4 hour time frame, right? Giving us a low price to then get back long. So if you don't want to play that C to D move and just manage that trade as it moves down, right? Sit and wait for a low price here on the 1, right? Look for a low price here on the 1, down into the sweet spot, and then look for that opportunity to get back long there. Okay. So that's the pound cat. Those are my thoughts.
Ryan, your
Questions?
overall bias from a monthly perspective is to the downside, or
No, it's to the upside right now. It's to the upside right now. We could come back into the top of this range here, right? Um, at some point, do we come down? Maybe, but I'm looking for longer term buying opportunities with the pound.
okay,
At
thank
least against the most of the pairs outside of the dollar. Okay. Any other questions? No. All right.
you.
Cool. Cool deal. Pound dollar. Boom. So this one is just like the rest, just bouncing back and forth, right? We come here, we didn't get to a 382, so at some point, right, looking for price to make its way back down, getting us to that 382 level. Okay, so that's where we're on a daily time frame in this 118, 127 zone, been stuck around here for quite some time. Okay. Coming down to the 4, we zoom out, right?
Hey, Ryan.
Sir.
Hey, my bad. I was talking. I was on mute. My on that pound cat. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we definitely keep in mind, right? Canadian dollar things going on with oil right now, right? Where we're seeing oil take a dip, you
Yep.
know, based on hopes for potential ceasefire, like you were talking about in the Middle East. Plus, we the U.S. crude stockpiles came through pretty heavy. Um, so that's weighing on oil a bit. Plus, Canada, they had their GDP misforecast, right?
Oh, did it?
So yeah,
I
so
didn't look
while
at that.
we saw an increase with Europe, right? we saw it miss target with the Canadian dollar. So I'm
Okay.
looking, correction, of course, but then possibly leaning towards the upside just to confirm what you were talking about.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. That
Yep.
makes sense. So correction and then continuation long. Appreciate you, bro. Pound dollar, right? So that's where on the daily time frame, right? We haven't gotten to a 382, just been pressing really sideways, larger moves, but overall still just moving across the screen, right? And so we're kind of stuck here now. We broke past this previous daily support and then we came back to retest it. So now, depending on what the Fed says, right, anticipating higher for longer as being the narrative, we look for potential for this to start making its way back down to the downside. So coming into the 4, right, we have this larger move here, right, coming off the 80-20 scenario there. And this has been our range on the 4. We got a 786 retracement here, right? And so the question is, where do we go, right? Where do we go? Does the dollar give us the catalyst? We know it's been pulling back. Do we get the catalyst to push this thing down to the downside? And does it have enough steam to take out the A, right? So that's where we are, just range bound right now on the pound dollar. We come down to the 1 and we look at things from a shorter term perspective, right? We know we had that 80-20 play out here. Now we're pulling back, starting to make our way down to the downside with that strong dollar data that came out yesterday. All right. And now what happens? All right. So we sit and wait on the Fed. Do we get a push up and then a continuation to the downside? Right. Or does Jerome Powell say something that gives the catalyst to push this deeper into the zone? Okay. So that's what we're looking at, right? That's if you're still in this to the upside, looking to get to TP2, definitely look to take some off the table. But that's what we're looking at, right? Expectation is for Jerome Powell to be hawkish, right? And if he's hawkish, we'll see this thing continue moving to the downside. So I don't have any positions on this one right now. I was looking to get into the 618 retracement zone. 8-6, gotcha. Okay. I would love for price to come here. I may not get that though. So we'll see what happens on this move. JC is a 5-minute on 8-6 on GU. On the 5, let's come down and see what's happening. There's your 15-minute 80-20 that played out beautifully. Flip the fib. Here we are there. That's on the 15 on the pullback. Come down to the 5. You got fibs running off the high, JC, or the low? Okay. I follow you though, right? Boom. Shallow retracement, 118, 127. Push up, pull back. So JC's looking at this sub fib off the low, like that. Great work. Great work. Yep, up 7s for JC. Boom. All right. So 80-20 scenario on the 5. See what happens, right? You also got an 80-20 scenario coming back down to the downside here. The 80-20 is all around here, right? So could we get a push down like this? Right back into that zone. And then get the move back up. Where you got your fib running, JC? You got it running off of this level here? No, because that one took that out.
Hey Ryan, my A is at 1.24481 and my B is 1.25682.
Ah,
Oh yeah,
larger
that's
fib.
it.
There we
Yeah.
go. Okay. Appreciate that. I follow you though. Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful. I see what you're saying now. Okay. So JC got 8-6 retracement here, right? Some confirmation on this, right? 8-6 retracement here. Sub fibs running to the downside, 80-20 scenario. Boom. All right. I dig it. I dig it. So you're looking at it this way, right? Still getting some confirmation on the sub fib. Here's your pullback here, right? As long as we stay in, don't take out the A, has no choice but to go our way. Look for a push to the upside, right? At least potentially getting us back into this range. And then, right, we got dollar news coming out this afternoon where things could get interesting, right? So we'll manage that to the upside. But there you have it, right? 8-6 retracement. Are we able to at least get a higher price, right? Because this could give us a move like that 30, 40, 50 pips to the upside, right? And then as we get into these higher ranges this afternoon, we could see this turn over and make its way back down. So just be cautious of that as we move through the day and as we get close to news time. And we got other stuff coming out that could give us also some volatility, right? So the data that comes out early, right? It'll be interesting to see. Does this data here excite the market, right? And give us the catalyst to push it to the upside and give us a high price, right? For when the Fed comes in this afternoon with a hawkish tone and push it back down. We'll see. We'll see. Appreciate that, JC. Questions on the pound dollar?
Oh.
Nope.
Cool deal. So let's Joy want to see gold and copper. We'll come back to meta. Let's look at copper. Let's go monthly. Do another top down here. Not a ton from a monthly time frame perspective. Benny, is copper a commodity, primary commodity for any country?
I know Australia
Australia.
um deals with it, right? With copper mining and things like that. In Australia.
Okay.
That's other than that, I know like what is it? Who is the second? Who's the largest now? It might be. I know. I'm trying to figure who's the largest now, but I know Brazil is a major player. So when you talk about the real, which we don't trade, um, but those two come to mind.
Okay. Brazil and Australia. All right, that works.
Yep.
Boom. All right,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Those are the two that come to mind the most. It's multiple for sure, but some of the currencies we don't trade. I
Yeah.
know Canada does some business, but I'm not sure. I know oil is the dominant commodity for them, so but I
Okay.
know they deal in it too, like countries like uh Chile, South American countries, things like that. But I think Brazil is the major one. It's Mexico, stuff like that.
Ooh. And so, like, even some of the stuff that's happening in Brazil, right, that could also cause some movement here. In there, 'cause don't they have some dealings with China, Brazil? Okay. Chile, Peru, Congo, China. Interesting. Interesting. So there we are, right? Monthly, weekly, daily support, resistance. Boom. All right. That's all of our data. So let's, price has been moving to the downside overall. Look at that. All right. From a daily time frame perspective, shallow retracement 118 and 127 zone created that support, pushing back to the upside, got to 382 with that spike, and then we had a gap down. Matter the time frame or the asset class. Right. So that's copper on a daily time frame. Let's go down to the 4 and see what we see. So we took out the A there. We'll run a fib off the high just to see. Right. And so we got this deep retracement happening here on the 4. So we come here and we'll map these out to the upside. That got taken out with the gap down. But even here, right? Even on the gap down and all of this, right? AB boundaries, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, took out the A. Man, oh man. Boom. So there we are right now. That's the capital fib on the 4. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, 80, 20 back the other way. So we're coming back down into support. We'll come down to the 1 and we'll look at this move to the upside. We got a deep retracement on the 4, which means we'll be running in the opposite direction on the 1. So we'll come down here to the 1 hour, right? You see those fibs got taken out. And we'll look at these to the upside. Boom. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, breakdown. No matter where you go, right? No matter where you go, 80-20 is a thing. So, and this is where we are. We're coming into daily support, 618 retracement, right? Off the higher time frame, right? We're pushing to the upside. So we'll see what happens here, right? It's been a long move down. We'll see if this support at 372 will hold. If that support holds, right, we see this bounce and look for a C to D move to the matching D extension, will puts us at the top of the range at that 397. So that support is going to come into play there, and we'll watch and see what happens when we get there.
So we see this moving down at the same time that the S&P and the Dow and the Nasdaq is moving down. So can anybody tell us why? Like why is that happening? Why is that important?
Market sentiment.
Right. And just overall, your overall health of the global economy, because we have to remember that you use copper in just about like everything. So whether it's like to produce power, when you talk about transmission, construction, copper's used in electronics, all types of factory equipment. So if you see a demand for copper going down, a lot of people track it because it could be, depending on how granular you want to get with your fundamentals, copper prices can be a key indicator for overall economic health, right? So if you start to see copper losing some steam and contracting a bit, then you have to look to see, okay, well, what's going on with the economy? Is there a lack of demand somewhere, right? Is there a concern, right? And like you said, the overall sentiment. So that's it.
Interesting.
Great
Well,
answer.
the reason why I was interested in copper, like my husband works for AT&T, and so they are replacing like all copper with fiber optics. So like I don't even know what fiber optics is. I ain't gonna even lie. But I don't know like what all business is switching out to fiber optics. And it's like I've been seeing like the investment.com got this article funneling towards me because they're saying with gold and copper, I guess it's a new EFT. I have to go back and find the article. It's a new EFT, and there is a concern for it's a problem. Something with the demand. I gotta go back. I'm sorry, I'm not full with it. But they are predicting for price just like when gold get to its levels for it to rally. So I just wanted to watch it and get a professional look at it.
Right, right. So what you're talking about is just one aspect, right? The switch to fiber optics, but copper is not is getting switched over in that in that aspect, but it's not gonna go anywhere because copper is even used in things like what to give an example, like building architecture, like I said, electricity, even in the medical field, right? Because when you talk about copper and what what it's made of, is alloys, is antimicrobial, right? So it's something that is always going to be around. I mean, from the jewelry that people wear to like, especially building materials, gutters on people's houses, is very important. It's very important. So
Even in the renewable energy space.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a good one to follow. I don't necessarily, I'm not a copper trading expert. I know that it's watched closely by investors because of its importance, and is used as a strong economic indicator. Copper and silver prices and things like that can try to help you get a gauge on what the overall demand is.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned China earlier. I just posted an article in the chat. Chinese demand is coming to focus, and that kind of caused the slip there. But if we get a rebound in Chinese manufacturing activity, right, we could see an upturn in copper, right, in copper consumption. So um keep your eyes on China as well, right? Being that they could drive some of that demand.
What's the symbol in the when you to trade it?
I just typed in copper there. Let's see, MT4. I don't know if I'm able to pull it up with mine. Let's see. Metals. Yeah, I don't have access to it in my MT4 with the broker that I have here. I'm not
I think it's
positive.
just COP or something like that.
You could just look at you could just follow the index to COPX on the
COPX.
on the NASDAQ. You could just, it tracks.
Yep. Good conversation. I love it. Appreciate you, Jordan, bringing this up. We'll watch. We'll watch and see how things go. Okay. So that's copper. Let's go to gold. My gibberish here. All right, there we go. So moving down, let's come back to the daily. And there we are on the daily. Okay. Up retracement zone, right? Pulling back. Got trend lines coming to the upside. We'll see how deep this goes, right? Previous resistance could become future support, right? Let's see if we come back and test that and then get a bounce. And we'll see how things move also with the data and the conversation today with Jerome Powell, right? So that is that. Actually, That's what I wanted to see. Larger fib. There we go. So do have a larger fib sequence here. Boom, still up retracement, right? So that trend line comes along with that 236 retracement level, previous resistance there, right? So see if we get a bounce and a push, maybe, or do we come back down to that support and then potentially break it? Okay, so we'll watch that on the daily time frame down to the 4. Will they pop in? Doesn't look like it. Don't get broken there. So I'm just going to run the smart fib here. Save us a little bit of time. Oops. What's happening? This is one that's weird. Yeah, that gets taken out. So we'll come to the most recent low and run them off the low here. There we go. That's what we got on the 4, right? Coming down 50% retracement. See if we get another push deeper. Okay. And then down to the 1. Right. So that AB boundary got taken out to the downside. So we'll flip, run down. There we go. Okay. So we got to 382 already, right? Push down. So we'll wait to see what happens here. All right. We'll wait to see what happens. Could go ahead and collapse and get to that 2219 level in line with that trend line, and then see if we get a bounce off of that. All right. But this is in between right now. So I'd obviously wait until after this afternoon to see what happens and see where we get price to push. Right. But we could see this go ahead and continue to fall.
Yeah, my play, I was at the top. I didn't jump back in. I went ahead and collected, allowed it to hit the stopping profit for 100 pips. And then I got concerned about, thank you, about that daily 80-20 setup. So it's like, and I generally, it's like, I kind of was like, I wish I could have just held it. But because of my uncertainty and with Jerome about to come speak, I already know that the Bulls and the Bears gonna be fighting. I don't want to be in the middle of it, even if it did go in my favor. I only play because the morning bell ringers will buy so much on it, and then it'll just collapse. And like I was paying attention after the 12 o'clock, the volume, it'll just get stuck because there's nobody trading it no more. So I just went ahead and allowed it to close and just waiting to see.
Yeah.
And waiting on that 4 hour. I'm actually really waiting on that 4 hour.
4 hour coming into the zone. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Let's see what happens. Let's
Great
see what
work,
happens.
Joey.
Yeah, it's beautiful work. Beautiful work. All right. 100 pips in profit. Now we're waiting on the low price, potentially get back long. I love it. I love it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. All right. Questions on gold. Nope.
No.
All right. So we'll watch and see. See if we get that low price. All right. Quick peek. What time we got? We got 4 minutes. We'll do a quick peek at the S&P, and then I want to bounce through Meta and Amazon. So we'll look at Um, that A got taken out, so we'll run the fib. We'll just look at the 4 here, right? Actually, no. Daily. There we go. There we go. So they were on the daily time frame. We're starting that move to the downside. Strong bearish action. We got a pullback, and now we're trying to turn back over and continue that move down, right? But it makes sense with all the fundamentals in play, higher for longer with the interest rates. So we're making our way down, right? We're making our way down. We'll see what happens at 48.31, right? Support. We also got a daily support there. Oh, right there. 49.29. If we're able to break that, we'll look for a continued move down, right? If we stall there, then maybe we look at potential for double bottom to a double top scenario. All right. Something like that. So we'll watch and see how things move. Got a TP at 49.08. And that's already short on this. Beautiful. Great work. 49.08. We're down in this range. Excuse me. Awesome. Man, enjoy. Short in the S&P 500. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. And 80-20 plays out. It's a beautiful thing, right? Once you see it, you can't unsee it, regardless of the time frame. That's what it is. Right. So that's coming down. That's coming down. So we'll, like I said, we'll see how the market responds to Chairman Powell's speech this afternoon. And then we'll look for more opportunities on that. So that got taken out to the downside. Flip it, run it down. Boom. This is your 80-20 on the reversal. Got you to a high price. Anywhere, everywhere, all at once. Down to the 1. That was the 80-20 that you saw on the 4. Boom. Retracement, 618 level. Stop outside the A boundary. Price is turning over and pressing down. Right? So we're already in process to see the D move, and this is what Donette Enjoy are looking at here, right? 618 retracement, matching the extension 4907. They are on it. I love it. I love it. Great work. Great work. That's the S&P 500. What's the Amazon? Quick look at Amazon. Boom. All right. Let's come back here. Potential for a crown pattern there. We'll get back to that in a second. But delete. Before all of that transpired, it was running to the upside. I believe it was on the 4. Nope, not on the 4. Daily. Let's see that at. We had an 80-20 play out. It might have been that move on the 1. But that's where we are on the daily time frame. Momentum to the upside, boom, breakdown on the daily. That was on the 1. So we'll come back and run the fib off the one. There we go. That's the fib I was looking for. Boom. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Didn't get to that D extension breakdown. All right. So now we're looking to see close strong bearish action yesterday. We'll see what happens in this consolidation here, right? And got a ton of gaps back and forth, but and this is why I say a potential for a crown pattern here, right? On a pushback to the upside, but that's going to be based on Jerome Powell, right? $4 on dividends. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and this is opportunity, right? To mark up these and look for some of those low prices to get in and buy some of those stocks that pay dividends, or the funds that pay dividends. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So we'll watch this and see how things transpire. But this 80-20 to the downside is coming in play. So we'll see if we get a pullback and then a continuation down. But Amazon is in the 80-20 zone. And then Meta. Look at this. 1 hour, 80-20. Boom. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, consolidation, breakdown, a gap, push you to TP2. All right. So like low price here, it's a buying opportunity. All right. Play that to the upside. So as we'll talk more about building out stock portfolios based on the methodology that we teach and how we can use this. Something that Benny and I have been talking about. We'll put some things together, but how we can use this to find optimal buying opportunities, start to build that portfolio on the other side to stack your discipline. I mean, to stack your dividends and your holdings on the stock side, right? Because as you see, no matter the asset class, it's there. It's there time and time and time and time again. So, questions on anything that we covered this morning? Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. If everybody gets a chance at around 2:00, we can stream it, right, Ryan? We can stream his press conference for the FOMC.
Yeah, I will.
So, I think we can. I think we may be able to. Well, or I'll find a link or something that we can share in the community.
Yeah, it'll likely be on Bloomberg as well in the
Yep.
on the blog. So I mean on the calendar
Correct.
page.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So yeah, you definitely should be able to catch it there because Bloomberg will be running it. But that's the news of the day, right? I'm always interested to see what he has to say, and I'm always learning something every time. So that's it.
yes, sir. Right. So in the community, real quick, in the community, right? Go to resources, calendar, boom. You can check it out right there. Also, we'll take a look to see if we're able to stream it on the YouTube channel. And if we are, we'll get that stream set up as well. All right. Good people. We appreciate you showing up for yourself every day. Find your 1% today. Be patient. Let's make it happen. Have an awesome day. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. We'll see you in the community. Peace.
Thank you.